All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to play detective. We're not just looking at a boring list of symptoms, we're actually going to investigate a super unique medical profile. We're going to piece together all the clues from a really particular case and build a portrait of a patient whose story points to one and only one specific answer. And, we'll start with a clue from the patient himself. It's a mysterious, almost ominous introduction, right? It tells you immediately this is not your average situation. He has a leading note, a single powerful clue that basically defines his entire condition. So what on earth could it be? So let's officially open the case file. We're going to call our subject Barnaby Benz. By really getting a feel for his world, what's going on inside and out, we can start to see the patterns take shape. First things first, his physical state. Barnaby is just a fundamentally chilly guy. He is always cold. It gets way worse when he's in the open air, and he says it's just unbearable if even a single hand is uncovered. This isn't just him preferring a warm room. This is a deep-seated physical reality for him. Now, let's take a look at his mind, which is just as interesting. He's the kind of person whose thoughts just get stuck on dark, unpleasant things. But what's really wild is how physical it gets. He literally, physically shudders if he sees someone with a deformity. And this mental distraction is so intense, it even messes with his writing. He just starts leaving words out.
Okay, let's keep building this profile by checking out the physical clues his body is giving us. This is where his misery becomes something you can actually hear and see.
His body is, as he puts it, a collection of cracks. His joints pop and crack so loudly every time he moves. This is a huge pointer towards a rheumatic or gouty condition, right? And sure enough, you see these gouty nodes, gangliones popping up on his wrists, painful bunions. The pain itself is really sharp and specific, like tearing stitches in his toes and a swollen, aching knee. And here's where things get really, really weird. His pains don't just sit still. They travel with this bizarre predictability. The symptoms almost always kick off on his left side and then move over to the right. At the same time, they're also traveling from his feet upwards. This directional pattern, well, that's a huge diagnostic clue. Once again, the patient's own words just paint the clearest picture, don't they? His mouth is a direct reflection of what's going on inside him, spongy, deeply cracked, and covered in spreading ulcers. Wow, it's such a powerful and, honestly, an unforgettable image of his suffering, and the misery just keeps going. He's got this constant feeling of a lump in his throat, like food is stuck. But here's another strange twist. That feeling actually gets better while he's eating. How weird is that? And sleep? No escape there either. He always wakes up at 2 a.m., not from a bad dream, but from this feeling of violent heat inside him, with the sound of his own pulse just pounding in his ears. Okay, so we've gathered a ton of evidence, right? From cracking joints to a wandering mind. But now we get to the turning point, the single most important clue in this entire case, the one he hinted at right from the very beginning. So after hearing all of that, what do you think it is? What's the one symptom that just rises above everything else and defines this entire picture? And there it is. That's the leading note, the unmistakable scent. He says his urine is dark and has this incredibly strong, pungent, and offensive odor that he specifically says is just like horse's urine. This isn't some minor detail, folks. This is the absolute centerpiece of the entire puzzle. In diagnostics, when you get a symptom that is this clear, this unusual, it's called a red line keynote. It's the one undeniable, unmistakable clue that just cuts through all the other noise and points you directly to the solution. It's the key that unlocks the whole case. So, now that we have our red line keynote, we can finally move from investigation to resolution. Let's put all these pieces together and officially solve the pungent path of our friend Barnaby Benz. You see, all of these clues, they all point to one single profile, benzoic acid. In certain diagnostic systems, like homeopathy for example, this aromatic acid, which comes from gum benzoin, is the go-to for this exact cluster of rheumatic and, most importantly, urinary symptoms. And this is the crucial part, seeing how all these different clues connect. A rheumatic patient? Okay. Cracking joints? Interesting. Pains that travel left to right? Now that's pretty specific. But when you combine all of that with the red line keynote, that highly offensive pungent urine, The whole picture just screams benzoic acid. It all clicks into place. So this is all great, but how do you actually make this knowledge practical? Let's wrap this up by summarizing the most important takeaways from this case. Think of it as a little mental checklist you can use for future identifications. All right, here's your essential checklist. Number 1, first and foremost is the scent. That unmistakable, strong, horse-like odor of the urine is your number 1 clue, period. Second, the sound. Listen for those cracking joints. Third, the path. Always track the direction of the symptoms, left to right and from the bottom up. And finally, number 4, the mind. Don't forget that really unique mental state, like that physical shuddering at deformations. See, by learning to spot these patterns and identify these keynotes, you've just given yourself a powerful new diagnostic tool. The case of Barnaby Benz might be closed, but it leaves us with a pretty fascinating question. With this new lens, what other complex cases are just out there, waiting for you to solve?